Hello and welcome to Lightroom Quick Edit number 3. Today I'm gonna take this raw file and gonna turn it into something like that in just about 5 minutes. Alright, so let's jump straight into it. I'm definitely gonna raise the shadows, something like that. Then I'm gonna bring down the highlights. Not too much, maybe around half the way. Then I'm gonna bring down the blacks a bit. I don't really want any of the blacks clipped for this particular photo, so I think around -30 works the best. Then I'm definitely gonna bring up the whites quite a bit, hold down the Alt key to see wherever they clip and just stop before they clip. Then to contrast, I really don't want to add any contrast because that kind exaggerates the texture of the water even more, and I really want to go for a very soft and smooth look, so I think I'm gonna go minus contrast quite a bit, something like that. Then in terms of color, I think this is way too much to the yellows, so I'm gonna bring it down to the blues a bit. Not too much, so we'd still have a little bit of yellow from the sunset in the photo. I think that works quite well. And then I'm definitely gonna add some magenta in the tint, just to get rid of this kind of greenish look. Something like +40, +30 works quite well. Alright, so let's go down to clarity. Clarity is the same thing as I did with contrast. I don't want to bring it up just because it exaggerates the texture of the water too much. I'd rather go for a very smooth and kind of silky looking feel. So I'm just gonna bring that down a bit as well. Overall vibrance, I think I could bring that up a bit, however not too much. And to the tonal curve down here, I'm definitely gonna bring up the highlight slider, as you surely know if you've seen any of my previous videos. Something like half the way. I may bring up the lights just a tiny bit. And to the darks, I think I'm gonna leave the darks around 0, and to the shadows, I'm gonna bring up the shadows just a tiny bit. So we're already done with the global adjustments. As you can see, the sky is kind of overexposed, so I'm just gonna grab graduated filter and drag it over the sky as well as this hill right here and drop down the exposure, something like that. So I think the overall exposure looks pretty good and even, so I'm gonna add some dodge and burning here with the adjustment brush, add some exposure, just be sure the feather is at 100, and then I'm gonna add some color as well, something around the pinkish, orangey area. I think that would work quite well. And I'm just gonna draw over some parts of this image. So as you can see, this is way too much, so let me bring down the exposure as well as the saturation of the color. So we just have a light touch of color and exposure. And I'm just gonna draw over some more light parts of this image with the adjustment brush, something like that. Maybe gonna get rid of this spot right there, some more color there, and I may go into the oranges a bit more. Let me see there. I think I like the more yellowish tone a bit better than the very bright pink one, something like that. Alright, then I'm gonna grab another adjustment brush and just reset everything here and drop down the exposure just a tiny bit, as well as go up with the clarity to add some texture in some individual parts of the image, something like that right there. Make this a bit darker just so we get a bit more dynamic, something like that. And I think I'm pretty much done. When I'm looking at the photo right now, I think I may have overdone it with this plus exposure just a bit. So let me bring down the saturation even more, and I definitely like that better. I really have to say, this isn't one of my best images at all, but let's just see where we started at. This is the raw file, and this is what we've created in about 5 minutes. So even though this picture isn't super stunning, it's definitely better than it was before. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to see more videos just like this one and other Lightroom edits, be sure to subscribe. I wish you an amazing day, keep taking awesome pictures, take care.